Hey, what's going on guys? My name is Wen, I'm here with Good Gaming, and I'm here to talk to you guys today about how to gem, enchant, and reforge correctly for patch 5.4.8 for PvP as a Windwalker Monk. Let's now get into our table of contents. Now, in this table of contents, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be looking about what this video is going to be about. So we're going to be talking about 3 major points in this video. And if you already know one, then you can feel free to click on one of these videos in the description here, and then it will take you right to that point in the video where you need help. Alright guys, before we get into the gems, let's first talk about the stat priorities. Your stat priorities goes as followed. It's going to be agility, crit, haste, then mastery. Now, I'll go into greater detail why you want these prios later on in the video, and we're going to be covering why agility is most important up right now. So, now that we got the stat priorities down, let's first talk about our first gem that we're going to be talking about that's going to match all your red sockets in your gear, which is called Delicate Primary Ruby. Now, this is for 160 agility, and one of the reasons why agility is still your main stat is because not only does it give you critical strike, which is your second most primary stat, it also increases your damage and healing, so make sure you stack that as much as possible without going outside of your socket bonuses for your gear. Let's next talk about our next gem, which is called Deaf Vermilion Onyx for 80 agility and 160 haste. Now, one of the reasons why haste is so important now is because if you're taking the talent Chi Brew, which I've already created a guide on my YouTube talking about why Chi Brew is effective and how to use it in a rotation. One of the reasons why we need to take that is because our previous talent, which is called Ascension, which increases our maximum energy regain by 15%, we lose that when we're taking Chi Brew because it's under the same talent tree. It is the most preferred spec for Windwalkers right now, but you do lose that haste. And when you're going through rotation, it can be really hard to gain energy to jab in Rushing Jade Wind, so having extra haste allows you to have a more smooth rotation. So it's important to have haste in your gear, especially if you're taking Chi Brew as a talent. The next gem we're going to be talking about is Assassin's Imperial Amethyst for 80 agility and 160 PvP power. Now, we're going to be matching this to our blue sockets, and with that, we're going to be getting extra damage and healing in PvP with extra PvP power and agility. So it's really useful to gem that to your blue sockets. The last gem we're going to be talking about is your meta gem, which is called Agile Primal Diamond. This is going to match your helmet meta gem socket for 216 agility and 3% critical effect increase. So whatever you crit, it's going to add a 3% more damage increase to whatever you crit. Alright guys, let's next get into the Reforging. Reforging is really simple for Windwalker Monks. All you have to do is make sure whenever you see a piece that has Mastery on it, reforge it to Haste to compensate for the energy loss. Mastery is not as good as it used to be, because in the previous patch, what Mastery used to do was increase our damage when we popped our Tiger's Eye Brew. And now it only increases the amount of stacks we get. And with our new talent Chi Brew, it's actually quite easy to stack Tiger's Eye Brew without any problem. So, by adding more haste, it allows us to jab and Rushing Jade Wind more often, which equals more damage for our rotations. Alright guys, let's next get into our enchanting. Now I'm going to go right down the list, and I'm going to be leaving text here so you guys can follow along. So in your cloak, you're going to be wanting to enchant it for 180 critical strike. In your chest, you're going to be wanting to enchant plus 80 to stats. Your bracers, you're going to be wanting to enchant it for 180 agility or haste to bracer, depending if you have enough money. The agility to bracers tends to be a lot more expensive than the haste to bracers, so do it only if you can afford it, but be sure to get the agility to bracers whenever you can because it is your primary stat. Now your weapons are going to be tricky, so if you're above 2200, you're going to be taking the weapon chain and dancing steel. Now what the weapon chain does if you're above 2200, it gives you extra PvP power, I believe 600, so if you don't have it, if you don't have above 2200, it's not really worth swapping that out because you tend to do more damage with the double dancing steel anyway, because Windwalker Monks don't really get much out of getting disarmed. It does significantly reduce our damage, however it doesn't really make us not do damage. It's not like a rogue where rogues have to have it so they can shiv root. It doesn't really do much if we get disarmed, besides reduce our damage. So if you're above 2200, take it and then swap it out if you verse something that doesn't have disarm. So if you're reversing something that doesn't have a disarm, make sure you swap it out. And then if you're reversing something that does have a disarm, just swap it back in. But if not, just take double dancing steel. Now in your boots, you're going to be wanting to enchant that with blurred speed for 140 agility and a minor run speed increase. Your legs, you're going to be wanting to enchant leg armor for 285 agility and 165 critical strike. In your belt, you're going to be wanting to use a belt buckle, and in your belt buckle, you're going to be wanting to put a delicate primary ruby for 160 agility because it is your primary stat. In your gloves, you're going to be wanting to have 170 haste. And in your shoulder, you're going to be wanting to use a Greater Tiger Claw inscription for 200 agility and 100 critical strike. Alright guys, that's pretty much going to cover all the gem enchants and reforging that you're going to be needing to know in patch 5.8 for Windwalker Monks for PvP. Now, I guess the only thing that you need to keep in mind is that don't try to, you know, if you don't have enough money for the enchants that you need, like I said before, there are other enchants. You know, there is your best in slot, so it does give you something to shoot for, but you know, just try to get all that stuff sorted out and then experiment with it. Some stuff you might even change later on, but this is probably one of the best, you know, setups that you can use for PvP as Windwalker Monk. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know if you have any questions or comments or concerns. Feel free to drop a comment down in the description letting me know if you have any questions. Other than that, make sure you tune in to a lot of the good gaming streams, as well as seeing a lot of the other supporters and what they got to offer to good gaming. There's a lot of great players and great people that make amazing guides out there on the site, and if you guys have your own personal, you know, ways that you find might help other people, feel free to share your thoughts and make a written guide or even your own video. You're welcome to post them on the site. Other than that, I hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know if it helped, and I look forward to seeing you guys in the next video. Take care.